Okay, so as credit card enthusiasts, we're all here to maximize the value from our credit card setups. And of course, everyone's setup is going to be a little bit different. Some of you are on Team Cashback, redeeming your points regularly for that cash money, while some of you are on Team Travel, saving up for that perfect outsized redemption for aspirational travel. But no matter who you are, your overall credit card portfolio will likely contain both cashback and point earning cards, and they can be divided into 3 specific groups, each with their own specific function. And in this video, I'm going to explain each one of these groups in detail and explain how they can help better organize your overall credit card portfolio, cut down on wasteful spending on annual fees, and maximize your rewards earnings potential. Now, what's exciting about how we sort credit cards within our portfolio is that this is an activity that can be done whether you're just starting out on your credit card journey or even if you're further along in your journey and have quite a few credit cards. And the first step in this process is to review your overall credit card portfolio to get a bird's eye view of your current situation. So let's use my own personal portfolio as an example. You can see that I have annual fee credit cards and no annual fee credit cards, both on the personal side and on the business side. And for the longest time, I was looking at my credit card portfolio as a single collection. But after a year of churning through these credit cards, I noticed something interesting. When looking back at my previous What's in My Wallet videos, I realized that I was using the same credit cards every single quarter, and these cards could be grouped into a single category within my credit card portfolio. And this group is your core credit card setup, which consists of the cards you use for everyday spending. Now, for those of you just starting out with credit cards, this is where you'll be spending the majority of your time, building up this core credit card setup to get that perfect duo or trifecta setup based on your own personal spending habits. And you may be familiar with the popular duos and trifectas out there, but just to name a few ones, we have the Chase Trifecta, American Express Trifecta, Citi Trifecta, and the Capital One duo. Each one of these setups have their own pros and cons, and there are plenty of YouTube videos out there going over the details of each of these particular setups, both individually as well as head-to-head. And these setups are great as core setups because they have elevated multipliers in everyday spending categories, although some setups have better coverage in certain categories than others. Another factor to consider with these setups is not only the elevated earnings, but also how these points can be redeemed. And looking at both the earnings and redemptions will help you figure out if you're on Team Travel, Team Cashback, or even having a hybrid setup to take advantage of both types of redemption options. For example, in my specific situation, I have a hybrid core credit card setup consisting of the following cards: the American Express Platinum card, the American Express Gold card, the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite credit card, and the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards card. And I chose these specific cards because they maximize my own personal spending habits. On the American Express Platinum card, I get 5x membership rewards points back on flights and 5x membership rewards points back on properties in the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts program. On the American Express Gold card, I get 4x membership rewards points back on dining and 4x points back on groceries. On the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite credit card, I get 3.5x back on dining where American Express is not accepted, 3.5x back on travel, and 2.625x back on everything else. And on the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards card, I get 5.25% cash back on gas and 3.5% cash back on Costco purchases. So you can see that your core credit card setup should cover all your major spending categories with elevated multipliers. But if you've been following my channel recently, you know that I'm hoping to change my core credit card setup in a big way. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave a link to it up top as well as down in the description below. My plan is to replace my core credit card setup with the following 3 cards: the US Bank Altitude Reserve card, the Built MasterCard, and whatever sign-up bonus card I'm working on at the time. The US Bank Altitude Reserve card will get me 4.5x on mobile wallet purchases, which for me includes groceries, gas, and restaurants, as well as 4.5x back on travel. The Built MasterCard will get me 3x points back on restaurants where mobile wallets are not accepted, and 1x points back on rent. And since I frequently apply for credit cards to get maximum value with sign-up bonuses, this card, whatever it is, will act as my catch-all credit card. But if I'm not working on a sign-up bonus, I've decided to use the Bank of America Premium Rewards card as my catch-all credit card, still getting me 2.625x back on everything else. I also plan on keeping the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards card as a part of my core credit card setup as well, but I plan to switch the 5.25% category to online shopping instead. So you can see how updating your core credit card setup is super important because this is the setup you depend on to get you consistent, reliable value on your everyday expenses, especially if you're not currently working on a credit card sign-up bonus. But here's the thing with core credit card setups. If you plan it out well, hopefully you'll be able to stick with this setup long term since it really shouldn't change that much. So if it's perfect, then that's probably a good place to stop, right? I mean, if you got your perfect trifecta or duo and it's working for you, why bother getting any more credit cards? And I know you know the answer to that question. Of course, as long as you practice good money habits and pay off your credit cards on time and in full, we are definitely not going to stop there because there's a big, beautiful world out there with big, beautiful sign-up bonuses. But when you apply for cards with elevated sign-up bonuses, they generally fall into one of two categories. The first category is a one-and-done card. You get the card, you get the sign-up bonus, and then you stock drawer the card until the next annual fee hits, at which time the card gets canceled. But the next category is the one I want to talk about more, and these types of cards make up the second group in our credit card portfolio. And these are the annual fee credit cards that come with specific benefits that bring value to our lives, such as airline perks, hotel elite status, access to airport lounges, and hotel free night awards. What's nice about these cards is that if the benefits on the card outweigh the cost of the annual fee, these cards can become keeper cards that can bring you consistent value every single year. And so the cards you use specifically for benefits make up the next group in your portfolio, which is your secondary credit card setup. And it's not that some of these cards don't have great multipliers on certain categories. Actually, airline and hotel credit cards have great multipliers if you purchase airfare or stay at a hotel within the card's ecosystem. But the main use of these cards are usually the benefits that you get with them. And this is true for not only airline and hotel credit cards, but also for annual fee cards that earn a flexible point currency. From my portfolio, a great example of this would be the American Express Platinum card. Even though it has pretty good multipliers for flights and FHR hotels at 5x membership rewards points, the real value of this card is taking advantage of the many benefits and credits on the card itself. Of course, that's easier said than done, but the Platinum card can be a great option for the frequent traveler or really anyone who can find value once they do the math for their own specific situation. And this brings up another important point, and that is that certain credit cards can be a part of your core credit card setup, but can also be included with your secondary credit cards as well. So in my situation, the Platinum card will be used not only for the 5x categories, but also for the benefits, such as the lounge access and access to the FHR program. But since I value the benefits more, this card actually belongs more with that secondary credit card group. And I made a video recently about several credit card strategies for Marriott properties where you could get 3 to 4 free night awards every single year for relatively reasonable annual fees. I bring this up because hotel credit cards with free night awards are great examples of cards that fit perfectly in this secondary credit card group. And 4 of the cards I talk in that video are the American Express Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card, the American Express Bonvoy Business card, the Chase Ritz-Carlton card, and the Chase Bonvoy Boundless card. Now, in looking at the strategy, as well as my own personal credit card portfolio, I noticed that I had 3 of the 4 cards already to start the strategy myself, and because of that, I decided to go for it, and because I'm a Marriott loyalist. So here's what it looks like in my own personal credit card portfolio. You can see that these hotel credit cards are a part of my secondary credit card setup, and let's go over them briefly to see why. The Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card gets me an $85K free night award every single year, and the Marriott Bonvoy Business card gets me a $35K free night award every single year, of course, after that first card member anniversary. I also have the Chase Marriott Bonvoy Bold card, and since I've had this card for many years now, and the credit limit on this card is $38,500, it meets the criteria to be product changed into the Chase Ritz-Carlton card, which I've done recently. I'd also like to eventually add the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless card, as this is the final step in this Marriott free night award strategy, but since I got the Marriott Bonvoy Business card earlier this year, I'm locked out of Chase Marriott sign-up bonuses for at least another 18 months, so I'm going to have to wait. Notice how all of these credit cards have annual fees, with some of them being pretty high. And this is another point to keep in mind. It's important to monitor your secondary credit card setup closely, since these are the cards that are likely going to have the highest annual fees because they have the best benefits. But since they're all grouped into the secondary credit card group, this makes it a lot easier to keep track of these cards and to make sure they continue to get you great value. And so now we have our core credit card setup and we have our secondary credit card setup. The third and final group in our portfolio is going to be our bench credit cards. And this group is exactly how it sounds. These are your no annual fee credit cards that you either no longer use, are out of your credit card rotation because they're rotating category cards, or cards that used to have annual fees, but they've been downgraded to those no annual fee downgrade options. Other credit cards that would fit into this group would be cards you got just for the sign-up bonus, since they need to be held for at least 1 year, but you don't really want to spend on them anymore. And so this is why they get put on the bench. Looking at my own credit card setup, I have 6 cards that fall into this category. My American Express Blue Cash Everyday card, Barclay card, World Arrival card, and my United Gateway card are all cards that I've used in the past, but now just keep them around to lengthen my average age of accounts. I also have the American Express Business Platinum card, American Express Business Gold card, and the Hilton Honors Business cards, which are cards that I got specifically for the sign-up bonus. And these bonuses are all completed, so these cards have been put on the bench since they are all pending cancellation after that first year. So now let's go over each of these 3 groups so we can see how all these cards work together to create your credit card portfolio. You have your core credit card setup, which covers all your major categories for your everyday expenses. Whether you're running a cashback setup, a travel setup, or even a hybrid setup, as long as you cover your everyday spending categories, you're in a great spot. The next group is going to be that secondary credit card setup, which is the group of credit cards you have primarily for their benefits. Popular cards that fit in this group are going to be the ones that get you lounge access, airline perks, hotel elite status, and of course, hotel free night awards. Remember, these are likely going to be the credit cards with your highest annual fees, so make sure to keep a close eye on them to make sure you're always getting value from the benefits offered on each card. I think doing an audit of your benefits on these cards every single year when the annual fee posts is a great time to do the analysis for yourself and to make that keep or cancel decision. And finally, you have your bench credit cards that consist of your no annual fee credit cards, as well as cards that you got just for the sign-up bonus that are awaiting cancellation or to be downgraded. Oh, and don't forget that the no annual fee credit cards in this category should be used at least once every 6 months to prevent any unexpected account closures, because that will be bad. So those are the 3 credit card groups that make up your overall credit card portfolio. Again, I think a lot of us, including myself, spend most of our time focusing on our core credit card setup and may not spend as much time with the other 2. But don't forget about these other groups, especially that secondary credit card setup, since that's the one that will get you reliable, consistent value every single year. But of course, our secondary credit cards are the ones usually with a lot of statement credits. And if you're not careful, this may lead to statement credit burnout. And to see how you can manage this, check out this video next.